Hello and welcome to Syndicate Gaming. My name is Jim, and I haven't put out a video in a little while, so I wanted to check back in, see how everybody's doing. Um, just do a little news roundup, just sharing some feelings about how Marvel's going right now and all that. So we're really close to 500 subscribers, so please hit that sub button if you haven't. But yeah, there's no real plan today. Just want to talk new stuff that comes out in a couple weeks. We got Elsa Bloodstone and Man Thing coming out, and then Yondu and Nova. So I'm just gonna do a quick touch up on them, share my thoughts with them, and I want to hear from you guys what you're thinking if you're planning on picking them up or how you're gonna use them, because some of these characters seem really fun and interesting. So I've got Man Thing pulled up here. I'm not gonna go through everything, but I think this guy's really strong, to be honest. Like, he's a three threat that's really tanky. He has the same thing as Black Cat where you don't roll crits into him, so that's really frustrating. He heals two. He pulls in with his strike, like auto incinerate if you're too close to him, and then he can teleport everyone. Yeah, like I think Man Thing is gonna be a staple in Midnight Suns at least. I know he's also in Defenders. I don't know how much play he'll see there because they're mostly like an offensive team, but they might like his utility and incinerate. So yeah, really hyped for Man Thing. I think he might be a little bit overpowered, but he is really slow. So maybe you just ignore him or like throw him away. But if you don't have a consistent throw, he's going to be a problem. And then he has a really cool tactics card where if you try to run away from him, you can roll a die and you have a 50-50 to just pull them back. But you even like place them on the opposite side of Man Thing, which is really cool. So like they can go like two range threes away from where they started, which is pretty insane. So yeah, I expect Man Thing to be fantastic. Let's look at Elsa Bloodstone because she comes in a box with Man Thing. Like, I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of the monsters, but I think Elsa and Man Thing are just really cool. And she's obviously a new leader for the Midnight Suns, and I just kind of love this. It's super flexible. It costs you power, yeah, but it's like, oh, you just pick the thing that's best for you, right? Like not getting your damage reduced, fantastic. Rooting is really good. Exploding, she's just like generally good, and she's such a long range fighter. And I've mentioned before as well that I love Sin and her like hit and run play style. Elsa can run and gun twice, which is new and unique, right? So like she could do two of these to move twice and attack twice if she has four power, which is just really, really cool. Um, yeah, I think she's super hype. She has the same kind of defensive tech as Blade. It's gonna be interesting seeing what leader Midnight Suns players go towards. Because Blade's leadership is still really strong. Like just in a vacuum, it's probably stronger than Elsa's, but Elsa's is much more flexible, and I think she's a better character. So yeah, maybe maybe you bring both, and then when you see their squad, you pick the leader. I think that could be a thing. So yeah, I think Elsa is fantastic. Um, I don't even remember what her tactics card does. She spends power. First time an attack targeting this character or another within four is resolved. She rolls dice and deals damage. Yeah, so she has like kind of a counter attack for a round, which I think is super cool. Like just free damage out there. Yeah, I think that's a really good card. Like she has a lot of things she wants to spend power on, right? But like this is potentially so much free damage. So yeah, really hyped for Elsa and Man Thing. Might be picking that one up. They come out January 31st. Let's look at Nova now. Um, man, I could have sworn they said he was going to be a leader for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't gone back to like confirm it, but I've listened to some of my old videos where I made it right after the reveal streams, and I said in that video that they were going to be a leader. So that's a pretty big letdown, to be honest. Like we don't know of anybody else coming out. that is gonna be a leader. So yeah, you still have to use Star-Lord, right? Like, I think we're at a point in the game where like every big affiliation should have multiple leaders just to mix it up. But as far as Nova goes, he plays a lot like Juggernaut, which is really cool, right? So like when he moves, he gets power, adds dice to his next attack, like really similar to Juggernaut. He can strip all of his status conditions when he does this too, like really, really good. He can still be staggered, which is rough because, your first action has to be shake a stagger and you have to move to remove your status conditions. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And they banned Crew of the Milano, so you can't even use that. But man, he has a throw on his builder, range 4 push, putting out judgment. That's really unique. Yeah, I think Nova is awesome. Um, he is a long mover, which is really good. Is he on a medium base? Oh man, I don't think so. That looks like a small base. Yeah, that's definitely a small base. Okay, so he can't do the extract play, but he hands out rerolls. Like, I don't know how often you're really gonna do that because like your leadership gives you rerolls, right? And he wants to spend power on himself, so I guess you'll do it in a pinch. But yeah, Nova is super cool. I just, can't help but feel like everyone's let down. He's not a leader. Um, then he has some really cool tactics cards with like Gamora. They share superpowers, kind of like Agent Venom and Spider-Man. That's really sweet. This one is just like a global mess with people. Like, Nova can be anywhere on the board, spend 3 power to just affect any secure objective, or give all enemies holding tokens slow. So that's just really powerful. It's going to end up, based on where he sees play, but he's only in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like they already updated the documents. I think that makes sense. But yeah, super cool character. I do really like Juggernaut. He's fun to play, and I think Nova's going to be fun to play. And then Yondu. Oh, I'm so hyped for Yondu. I think he's so cool. Like, first of all, this has to be my favorite model in a pretty long while. Like maybe since like the Wrecking Crew. They're not even that exciting, but they're just cool. But I was kind of hoping Yondu would be in the Criminal Syndicate, Ravager background, all that. He's not, which is like a little bit of a letdown, but I think I'll still try him in Criminal Syndicate just because he fits that style so well. Because this whole thing is like playing around, objective tokens and all that. So, like, he's range 5, ignores cover, gives out a slow. His, spender pierces. It does extra attacks if you get certain triggers. He has hit and run. He can steal objectives from allies or really anybody. Just, if any character would drop something within 2, he can pick it up instead. Like really cool quick draw like Cyclops and Hawkeye for auto damage. Like, oh, I think Yondu is so good with MODOK Scientist Supreme and Shadowland Daredevil. Like, I think he's going to be a great splash because, and then his final passive, if he's holding or standing on something, he rerolls a die in all of his rolls. So, like with Shadowland Daredevil, that's 2 rerolls in all of his attacks, and he could theoretically do like, I mean, if you get super lucky, you could hit the entire enemy team. So that could be like 2 rerolls on 5 enemies, which won't ever happen, but it could. And then like, MODOK, if you get that wild, you're just like popping off, and you're more likely to because of the rerolls and whatnot. So yeah, I think Yondu is awesome. It would have been nice for him to be a Guardians leader, but he would have had to lose a superpower here. And I think these are all just great. Um, oh yeah, what is his tactics card? When he attacks, when an allied character attacks an enemy within 3 of Yondu, if the enemy's holding something, they can reroll 2 dice in their attack. And when Yondu attacks somebody contesting or holding something, he gains a power. So, man, that is so good. Like that in the rapid fire Shadowland Daredevil team, like you can get if you do like Hood's Gang, Shadowland Daredevil in this, you can get like 4 rerolls every attack, which is crazy. The only problem with this is you need Yondu within range 3 of the enemy, right? And that's not where he wants to be. He wants to be at range. Like he's really interesting because he does so much cool stuff. He has no control, but he does so much damage and objective play that I think he's like good enough. He is pretty squishy, so I don't know. He's gonna be really interesting. I'm definitely gonna try him out. Um, I wish he was CS, but oh well. Yeah, Yondu is sweet. Um, yeah, those are all the new character spoilers we've gotten. January 31st. We've seen a little bit. Here, I should have pulled it up. Um, they showed off Gladiator and some of the Crisis stuff, right? And a little like there's Gladiator. They're obviously hyping him up. They confirmed Black Bolt is sixth threat, which every sixth threat breaks the game, so we'll see how that goes. But like they've shown off a couple of these. It's not super clear right here. But like they're clearly updated versions of old crises. Like this looks like sword base that you get a reroll if you're already holding a token when you do the roll. It doesn't do the push and stuff like that. Actually you roll 3 dice. Huh. Yeah, so it's not just a straight 50-50. You roll 3 and reroll 1, so you're like almost guaranteed to get it. So that's interesting. Like this one is the same map as Hammers, but like this one, if you roll certain things, you get power and you get extra points for being near a secure. So it's more of this like get the extracts, go to a secure, which is good in that you don't want to run away with them, right? Like that's what they're trying to avoid is people grabbing extracts and running. But then that still just buffs the six threat Thors and Hulks that just like bully the middle of the board. So like I'm still a little bit concerned with that. And also it still doesn't solve the problem of Web Warriors need 1 more point to win the game, so they just double move with Black Hat. So, which I don't really know how that could be avoided, but yeah. There's 5 of each of these, and they also said there's 5 narrative crises. That's in the listing here, if we can find it. Um, but yeah, 10 new crises is going to be huge for this game. It doesn't come out till March though, which I'm a little bit disappointed by because I could really use the mix up. Um, like there's Gladiator in all his glory. He's really cool. So yeah, and it's a campaign system, so you could find a friend and play through it all together. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for me today. Just short and sweet. Just checking back in with everybody. Um, Let me know how you're doing, what you're finding fun in the game. As far as CS stuff, people have been playing lots of Abomination, which is cool to see. I think it's mostly on those central crises that he can really be a bully. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Hopefully I can put out more stuff soon. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.